here simply are the core Christian truths for living. We begin, like we began this morning, with this teaching that the Bible clearly teaches there is only one God. God is the single, eternal, transcendent, all-powerful creator of everything, and there is no other being like God. There's just one, and he's it. Other so-called gods are either imaginary or they are demonic. Imaginary because people made them up, or demonic because there are other spiritual beings, but just none of them are transcendent and all-powerful creators of anything. These imaginary gods do not last, like the gods Bel and Nebo, who nobody worships today. In fact, I bet there would be fewer than 15 people in the whole world that have even heard of Bel and Nebo if, ironically, they hadn't been mentioned in the Bible. If they weren't mentioned here, nobody would even know about them, let alone worship them. Christians have always stood for this plain teaching of the Bible that there is only one God. From the earliest creeds and belief statements like the Nicene Creed begins, we believe in one God, the Father Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible, the spiritual realms, the physical realms, anything that exists. Our personal God is responsible for all of it. This Christian belief set the stage for everything that we call science today. Without God, you cannot explain the very foundations of reason and logic or math. People that don't believe in God, they can use reason and logic, but they cannot explain why they exist or why logic works. The scientific revolution of the 1500s and 1600s was spearheaded entirely by Christians that devoutly believed in the one true God. Copernicus and Galileo and Newton and Kepler, because of their belief in God, they laid the foundations for the end of superstition and the rise of what today we call science. As Kepler said, the chief aim of all investigations, the external world, is to discover the rational order and harmony that has been imposed on it by God. And John Lennox, mathematics professor at Oxford, atheism in the end unravels rationality, and that is the end of science and all meaning. Because you see, not only is the Christian belief in one true God the foundation of all science, it is the foundation for all morality also. Without God as the lawgiver, all that remains is personal opinions and preferences. And you may say, oh, that's fine, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and that's true. But once we have cast morality into this category, any evil is possible. As Dr. Lascelles said, any moral standard of our own creation is necessarily subjective and arbitrary. And my friends, if we have not learned this lesson in the past 100 and so years, I can't imagine what will teach it to us. If nothing is absolutely morally wrong, then any evil can be allowed and will be. It is a terrifying prospect. This belief in one God changes the way we live our daily lives. It's not just the foundation of reason and morality and science. It changes the way that we live our daily lives. We study, as Christians, we study our Bibles as a roadmap for living. Our personal Creator God has spoken to us in the Bible, and we have been given practical help with where the ditches and the pits and the traps are. We've been given a light unto our path. We trust the Bible as our medicine for morality. The Bible moves us from moral sickness towards moral health. And we apply the Bible as an anchor against the storms. An anchor that keeps us from being destroyed by the storms of life. When the troubles of life come, we have prepared a solid foundation, an anchor that can hold us according to the wise and loving directions of the one true God, the Father Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth, and of all things visible and invisible.